How many of you have a favorite coat that you like to wear? Like it's your go-to coat. So here in Columbus, everybody's a Buckeye fan. So they're all wearing these Ohio State coats. It kind of identifies who they are, what they're a part of. You know, hey, we're Buckeyes, so we wear this coat. I had a favorite coat growing up. It wasn't a Buckeye coat. It was a jean jacket, and it had a big eagle painted on the back and like the American flag, and it said freedom. You know, because I was a rebel when I was like 5, and I thought I was like, you know, Steve McQueen or James Dean, like, you know, cool guys, because I had this jean jacket. And, you know, I had that James Dean daydream look in my eye every time I put that coat on. It was my coat. It was like what identified me. Like I wore it everywhere. Except for one night, I came in the house and I was eating dinner with my dad. My dad, you know how they kind of look at you sometimes like, what do you think you're doing? And my dad said, like only a dad can say, did you forget to hang your coat up, son? And I was like, no, Dad, I want to wear this coat. This is a cool coat. And he's like, are you cold? I'm like, no, Dad, I just like this coat. I'm not cold. I'm cool. I'm like Steve McQueen. And my dad was like, no, go take your coat off. And I was like, yeah, but Dad, no, go take your coat off. Yeah, but Dad, like this is my, no, son, take your coat off. And I was like, Dad, James Dean wore his coat inside the house. And my dad was like, son, you ain't James Dean. Take your coat off, or I will. I took my coat off. And, you know, interestingly enough, in the Bible, there's a guy named Bartimaeus who also had a coat. And when he met Jesus, he took his coat off too, but it's a little bit of a different story. See, the blind man's name, Bartimaeus, his coat identified him as a blind man. It was much like an Ohio State fan wears a Buckeye coat to say, hey, I'm a Buckeye. This was like he wore this to say, hey, I'm blind. So it helped him out because, I mean, he's walking down the road, people see his coat, and it's probably a brighter color, and they're like, oh, we know that he can't go around us, so we're going to have to go around him because he can't see us. Or maybe it's like, we're going to give him some money. His coat not only identified him, but it like fed him, it kept him warm at night, it took care of him. And yet when he met Jesus, he threw away the most important thing there was to him and ran to Jesus. I think the reason he did that is because he knew that when Jesus shows up, he creates in us a whole new identity. He creates in us an identity that's not what we used to be. So in other words, we may have been blind, but now we see. We may have been lost, but now we're found. We may have been known to be that guy who couldn't get rid of that sin that we desperately want to get rid of, but now we have Jesus. And he changes everything. Now we're not the person that we used to be because Jesus is here. Now we're not whatever it is that we thought we were. So the ghosts and the demons that we used to have from our past, they're gone. The identity that we used to have, it's gone. The problems or the sins that we couldn't overcome, they're gone. The tragedies that we just seem to have almost identify as, it's gone because Jesus is here. In fact, in Isaiah chapter 61, verse 11, it says that God's going to clothe us with salvation. Revelation chapter 6 and 7 talks all about God giving us new robes. See, when Jesus shows up, he changes our identity completely. And he wants to do that for you. But you got to take your coat off.